What's up, Arrow fans? John of Video Games in the World here, and this is it. Today is the big day. The day where we review the final season, and also the day where Arrow aired on the CW for the first time 10 years ago. This season was very short, but sweet. The crossover Crisis on Infinite Earths is in this season, and afterwards, the final 2 episodes. To me, watching the show was a long journey. This show started solid with its first 2 seasons. However, season 3 was boring. Season 4 made me stop watching the show because it was terrible. But season 5 making a 180 made me want to see the show again. Season 6 was okay. Season 7 was meh, but the season was pretty short, yet a pretty good send-off. The show had its ups and downs, kind of like Game of Thrones that started great with its first 4 seasons. Seasons 5 and 6 were good, but the last 2 were not so good. I have good memories with the show. My cousin and his friend got me into it, and I also liked how the show broke barriers regarding representation of demographics such as LGBTQ heroes like Sarah, William, and Curtis, not to forget a Latino hero, Rene. And what made me happy is that, like me, the actor who played him, Rick Gonzalez, is Dominican. A lot of fans felt that the show should have continued, while others believed that it was time. So now, let us review the final season of Arrow and share some thoughts. Enjoy. In the beginning, Oliver Queen has fought for survival in Lianyu, then returned home to save his city. For 7 long years, Oliver has fought alongside men and women who joined in his crusade to save Star City from the criminals and the corrupt many times. He has also met various others who will become heroes and at times join forces together to fight against enemies such as time-traveling conquerors, alien invaders, and villains from other Earths. And now, Oliver must leave those he loves in order to prepare for a crisis that threatens not only his Earth, but countless others. As the fate of the multiverse hangs in the balance, Oliver finds himself pit up on his most challenging battle yet. One that he will realize the ultimate truth of what it means to be a superhero. Okay everyone, spoilers ahead. I gotta say that this season could have ended a bit better, but still it was sweet. Some heroes and villains make a return this season, including the future generation, which of course it's Mia, William, Connor, Zoe, and John Diggle Jr. The final journey of Season 8 begins with Oliver Queen leaving his family in order to face the crisis that is to come. We saw last season that Mia was trained in combat by none other than Nissa Al Ghul herself, and in this one, her father briefly trains her when she's in the present day. I was very happy to see her again because she's one of my favorite characters, so dark and so badass, although I wish that she didn't appear so rarely at times. I loved Katrina Law's performance as a character. She was magnificent. Now, I could have said this in the last interview. While William lacks his father's aggressiveness, he has compassion. Mia is pretty aggressive like her father, but smart like Felicity. When the young heroes came from the future, I enjoyed the moment of bonding between the adult William and his father, who loved him and accepted him for who he is. Mia, who never met her father, I also liked how they bonded, and despite never meeting when she was born, she loved her father. Seeing Tatsu again was awesome, but I kind of wish that they did more with her in previous seasons. Still, I loved Rila Fukushima's performance as a character. Despite losing her son and then her husband in a duel, she still perseveres. What a woman. The fight between Mia and Grant was phenomenal, and her father instructing her not to kill was a Batman moment right there. Mia could have at least pulled a Jason Todd or Damian Wayne there, but at least Oliver taught her to not kill. Leap of Faith was one of my favorite episodes since Oliver and Thea teamed up with Talia to search for MacGuffin books, which have information on the monitor. It was like something out of Tomb Raider, which I thought was fun. And also, kudos to Katie Cassidy on her directorial debut for this episode. And speaking of Katie Cassidy, Her character Laurel had a redemption arc in the episode Reset. Not to mention, I dug her outfit this season, kind of close to the outfit Black Canary wears in the comics. Lila Michaels, while preparing for the crisis, she is recruited by Mar-Novu, in which she becomes the Harbinger. For that, she makes a difficult choice that will affect her husband Diggle and everybody else. Since Season 2, Lila was a pretty interesting character, evolving from a soldier to the director of Argus, and up until this moment where she became the Harbinger. She still has that warm-hearted, compassionate personality, but still freaked out with the powers of the Flash. The Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover was in some ways faithful to the source material, yet some liberties were taken. All these actors from the 1989 Batman movie, the 1960s Batman, Smallville, Birds of Prey made me feel very nostalgic. We saw that Reporter Knox, played by Robert Wool, Tom Welling as Clark, Ashley Scott as Helena, and Burt Ward once again playing Dick Grayson. Imagine how cool it would have been if Christopher Reeve and Adam West were still alive and were in that show. It would have been a major nostalgia trip right there. Although, I was kind of flabbergasted that the TV show Lois and Clark was not included. Too bad. It would have been awesome. And to think, back when the CW was the WB11, Smallville is what started it all with the superheroes. Birds of Prey had some degree of potential, but unfortunately it lasted one season after the ratings fell sharply. The Flash of Earth 90 being on the cosmic treadmill to keep the antimatter from destroying this universe reminded me in a way of Apocalypse War. Seeing John Wesley's ship as the Flash takes me back to my childhood. It was epic. We also got to see Ezra Miller, and I thought that scene was kind of cheesy. I also loved how they included Superman from Kingdom Come and Brandon Routh donning the Superman suit from that storyline. Now, I know a lot of people were not too fond of Brandon Routh being Superman since Superman Returns, but you cannot deny that he did a damn good job in this one. Personally, I thought he did good in the movie as well. His speech about fighting in honor of those he had lost was very moving, admirable, and noble. That is what makes Superman such a great hero. In this season and a crossover, we are introduced to Ryan Choi, the third one to take the mantle of the Atom after Ray Palmer. He becomes a major asset in the crisis to save the multiverse from destruction. Let's not forget that I like how they included Black Lightning in this one, but I kind of wish that they made him at least one of the Paragons, since he stands for justice and against prejudice and bigotry. Now, what I did not like, however, is that although the Black Lightning episode was titled Earth Crisis, I was not too pleased that it was not included in the crossover. That sucks. Now, the ending of the crossover to me was sad, and at the same time I was like, don't tell me that this crossover is trying to be like Avengers Endgame. But I liked how they started a new team when the new universe was born and included stories we know such as Titans and Doom Patrol. So with the new universe, there are various changes made, but I'm not telling you which ones. The episode of Green Arrow and the Canaries was pretty awesome, and I like how Mia takes the mantle of her father in the future. This episode was supposed to be kickstart a continuation to Arrow with the same title of the episode, but unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 outbreak, which got worse and worse, it was cancelled. I gotta say that the ending of the show could have been a bit better. While it was moving to see all the characters together for one last time, at least Slade could have appeared at the funeral and say, "Well done, kid. Oliver Queen, you have saved this universe." And finally, to wrap this up, this was a very long journey. The show had its great moments, epic moments, and there were various flaws too, like at times the humor feeling a bit too forced, Season 4 being too focused on holicity, Elseworlds being campy most times, etc. Some of my scores of each season were high, some were a bit lower, but my final score for the final season of Arrow is an 8 out of 10. Short, but sweet. And that's all, everyone. To every actor, writer, director, and producer of the series, I wish you all the best and stay safe. I am John of Video Games and the World. Happy 10th anniversary, Arrow. But there's one thing left to do so I can close this episode. Where's my big belly burger?